I believe that everyone you meet, whether it be on your inspections or your networking opportunities or you name it, are potential clients.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
All right, folks, minisode for you today. I want to share with you two experiences that I had this week with individuals and what we can learn from these examples. I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by a great company called Synapse. Synapse will help you to support your adjustments. Folks, more than ever, that's what you need. Go to spark4appraisers.com for more information. Again, it's spark4appraisers.com. All right, I want to share with you two experiences that I had that are very similar, and they basically boil down to listening to your client. Okay, listening to your client. I've got a problem, actually two problems with a GE dryer. I shouldn't have shouted out the name, I guess. With a dryer that might start with the initials GE this year. And in other words, I bought it this year and it's still under warranty. Let's put it that way, okay? But there are two problems. What the problems are don't really matter. It's not crucial to the story. What is crucial is that there are two problems. They are two separate problems. They are not related at all to one another. One is not causing the other. So when I called GE to do the warranty, first of all, I called the store that I bought it from, and they basically directed me to an 800 number, which I wasn't pleased with that to begin with, right? What happened to going back to where you bought the appliance from and having them take care of things? But nonetheless, okay, I get that's the world we live in. I called the 800 number, talked to a very kind person. He set up an appointment for 2 months in the future, okay? So 2 months ago, today, I set this appointment up. I was very clear what the two problems were. I asked them at the end of the conversation, will this individual fix both problems? Yes, they will fix both problems. Okay, great. Fast forward to today. You see where this is going, right? Fast forward to today, the individual shows up, not an appliance repairman from GE, but from a contracted place, right? When he showed up, he showed my wife the ticket, and it basically said the one problem and the other one was left off. He had no idea. And the second problem required a part. Okay, so 2 months I was waiting. 2 months that part could have been shipped, and he shows up and he barely fixes the first problem. That's another story, but didn't even touch the other because I don't have the part. There's nothing I can do about it. And so I had to get on the phone with GE again and say, hey, I still have a problem. And thankfully, the lady on the phone was very nice and she was understanding, and we've got somebody coming out faster this time than the 2 months. Okay, that's story number one. Story number two, I contracted with an individual to put in a walking path at one of my Airbnbs. Okay, and basically the gist of it is I wanted to go somewhat cheap, but decorative, but something was going to last. Okay, so I decided to go with gravel, and I decided to use those metal edgings that you put in with rebar. And this individual, I didn't know for sure had ever done this before. So to his credit, I was, going with somebody that was not a professional landscaper. But I said to this individual, here are the steps. In fact, I wrote this out in a text to this individual. I said, dig down the dirt 3 foot wide and 3 inches deep. Then put in the ground cover, and then put in the edging, and then hold it in place with the rebar. Okay, very clear. He sent me back the picture on the day that he finished. And he said, what do you think, boss? And it was very clear that he missed step number one, dig down. In fact, I wrote back and I said, did you remember to dig down? And he said, oh, I just removed the vegetation and put it on top. I thought that would be better. 2 days later, I went out to check the work, and sure enough, shocker, there are gravel rocks slipping out underneath the edging, as you can imagine, because he didn't do it right. So now I get to redo basically everything that he did. Frustrating. Listening. I want to talk about the importance of listening to your client, and I want to apply it to the appraisal business. But first, I want to pause and remind you that they're sponsored by a great company called Synapse. I got a couple of friends over at Synapse, the developers, Their names are Brandon and Kyle, and they are great people. These are individuals who get appraisers because they are ones, right? And they've developed this for appraisers to help support their adjustments. Folks, any more, right? More than ever, you need to support your adjustments out there. Your AMCs are going to be asking for them. Your clients are going to be asking for them. Your state board is going to be asking for them, right? Your work file should be full of support. And many of you get frustrated because you throw up your hands and say, how do I support an adjustment of square footage? It's a guess. Well, folks, it shouldn't be a guess. And Synapse will help you to get the data that you need to make the right adjustments and to support the adjustments properly. Check them out by going to their website, spark4appraisers.com. Again, it's spark4appraisers.com. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. I told you a couple of stories of individuals that I've worked with recently who did not listen to my instructions, and it was frustrating to me as a client. And I want to focus on that second part for a little bit, that it was frustrating to me. As an appraiser, you are dealing with people all the time. I'm going to give you an example that someone is maybe not necessarily your client, but they're a potential client. I believe that everyone you meet, whether it be on your inspections or your networking opportunities or you name it, are potential clients. Thus, present yourself in such a way, right? So when I'm at a home and a homeowner asks me a question, I do not think to myself, well, these guys aren't paying my bill. Why the hell should I stand here and answer that question? That is not my attitude. My attitude is to be as helpful and as friendly as possible, not just because they might be a potential client, but because I'm a human being and I care, right? But that may translate into business in the future. Who knows? I've had people reach out to me and say, the person who came was so kind and so nice, and I would love to have them do an appraisal on another property that I'm dealing with, blah, 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 blah. Okay? It happens. Again, that's not the reason you do it. You do it because it's the right thing to do, but it's residual. As an appraiser, as a business owner, right? You have opportunity to interact with people all of the time. It is frustrating to the other side when you don't listen to what they have to say, that the answer you give is off the mark because you did not take the time to pause, to put down your phone, to look them in the eye and have a conversation, to understand truly what they are thinking of, right? The same is true, yes. I know there are many of you who feel jilted with AMCs and you feel like they're just big corporations and they don't listen to you. I disagree. I think there are some great clients out there that are, yes, even AMCs, that if you will take the time to talk with them, share with them, communicate with them, that the experience that you have will be different than the experience you would have otherwise to not do those things. I have had an opportunity this year to coach several clients of mine who are doing better, who did better in 2023 than they did in 2021 or 2022. That's quite a statement. And when you dig into the reasons why, one of the biggest reasons is that they are communicating with their clients. They are not sitting back and waiting for the fax machine to ring. They are proactively doing the things that are required to listen, to share, to communicate, to have conversations with those that they do business with. Yes, the interest rates are what they are. Yes, the market is what it is, but that doesn't mean that you don't and shouldn't take the opportunity to get to know your clients even better. Thank you for joining me today, folks. I hope this has been helpful. As always, I hope that the program that I share with you helps you to be better, to elevate yourself beyond where you're at. If I've been of value to you, I would love to hear from you. In the comments below, if you're on YouTube, reach out to me, the coach at theappraisercoach.com. Would love to be of help and create some value for you.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.